been a little over a week here in the human world, and I'm beginning to understand what Audrey had meant by it being boring. Well, no, that's not the right word. Humans are still managing to surprise me every day. A better term might be peaceful. Well, truth be told, the past year or so in Ponyville had been unusually eventful. Nightmare Moon was the beginning, but then there had been the Paris Sprites, the Ursa Major, the Dragon, countless other things in the Everfree that I only heard about, but hadn't actually seen. And the time when Twilight had cast a spell on her old doll, and Bonbon and I ended up giving each other some ugly bruises. Things like that never happen in Des Moines. Humans are completely in control of their world, it seems. I can't forget what Princess Celestia had said about the war, though. But I haven't seen any humans carrying around weapons. It's hard to imagine Audrey, Nathan, or anybody else I've met doing something like that.
Lyra had settled into a routine, spending most of her time working on her guitar playing. She was picking it up fast. Music had always come naturally to her, so it wasn't a surprise. The guitar itself was easy enough, but the amp confused her. It was necessary to get any sound, but she hardly understood how or why. Nathan's books had helped too. It turned out that guitar was based more on chords than individual notes, so it wasn't quite like her lyre. She tried playing some old songs she had memorized from her gala performance, but on the guitar they didn't sound right. This was an instrument made for human music. She had asked Audrey for some music recordings that she could try and listen to and learn by ear.
You mean like rock music?
Like what it said on the flyer. I don't know who those musicians are, though.
I think my dad might have some stuff like that. Why don't you ask him?
It was a Saturday. Audrey's parents both had work off today, so Lyra found Audrey's dad in front of the television in their living room. They spent a lot of time there, but staring at the moving images for too long would make Lyra's eyes sore.
Hello, Lyra. Do you need something?
You have records of guitar music, right? Rock specifically. I'm trying to learn it.
You're looking for guitar music? I thought Audrey had said you played a lyre.
Well, I used to, but I want to learn something new. If I have something to listen to, I can usually play it by ear.
Let's see. I've got a lot of music from the 70s, if that's okay. I've got CCR, Deep Purple.
I think that one was on the poster I saw. These songs have guitar players, right?
It wouldn't be rock without it.
Those are what you keep music on? I'm used to these other things back home. We call them records.
Usually it's the kids your age who don't know how records work. Do you need me to show you how to play it?
Mm-hmm.
He opened up a case, moving his fingers quickly. He pressed down on the center.
Hold it like this. Try not to get fingerprints on this side.
Lyra took it from him, carefully holding it the way that he had. The light caught the silver disc and created rainbow patterns on the blank side.
It looks amazing.
I think there's a stereo in your room, Lyra. I'll show you how to play it.
She hadn't noticed the stereo before because it looked like just another piece of furniture. The disc was hidden inside a tray that came out, and it would play music despite not having a horn for the sound to come out of. But the sound was less scratchy, and Audrey's dad had showed her how to skip exactly to the beginning of each song, or play them on repeat. She'd listened to a song called Lodi a few times. It was nice and slow, and she could definitely relate to the lyrics. Once she'd picked out the lead guitar part, she practiced it all that afternoon until her fingers moved on their own and she could practically play it in her sleep. Back when she'd been a unicorn, playing her lyre for too long could give her a headache. Magic required such concentrated mental focus, but playing either instrument with her hands was much more relaxing. Once she got the song down, she could lose herself for hours. And in fact, she had. She had to remember to cut off her practice time once Audrey and her family were going to bed. Some ponies did play guitar, but Lyra had no idea how. Her fingers gave her precision control over each string. She'd seen ponies play guitar with their hooves, but it didn't even come close to what she could do with her fingers. Humans probably made better piano players too, any instrument for that matter. It had been a little over a week since she'd started. It was hard to imagine she'd been human for that long already. Lyra was in her room as usual, working on another new song.
Sounds great.
Thanks. I've been working on a new one.
How many songs have you learned?
I think maybe 3? No, 4.
It's only been a week.
I know.
It's weird. You're good at this. You're really good. You're like a prodigy.
My parents used to tell me that.
Audrey just nodded and stared at the ground. She'd stopped asking Lyra so many questions lately, probably because Lyra had no intention of answering. Lyra set down her guitar on the bed at her side. Audrey had a point. She had learned how to play really fast. Lyra stood up suddenly and went to her bag. Her journal was right on top, right beside her lyre, which had sat there unused for a while now. But all she needed was the flyer tucked in the front cover.
Musicians needed. I can't help but wonder if they're still looking for somebody to play the guitar. And now I know a little about Aerosmith and Deep Purple, and I can play a few of the songs off their albums. You know, I think I could probably audition for this now.
You're still set on that one, aren't you?
How do we contact them? You said you knew how.
It's been a while since you picked that one up. They could have gotten another interested guitarist.
I still want to try.
You sound like you're ready, at least. Somehow. We could try to call them.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm not sure what she means by call, but I still need to get used to the human slang. My parents had always wanted me to pursue my career in music. In a way, that's what I'm doing right now. Maybe I'm not a pony anymore. And maybe this human music isn't what ponies listen to, but I know they'd still be proud of me if they could see me now.
Here you go.
What is it?
Right. I probably should have asked if you knew how to use a phone.
Oh, no, but I'd like to learn. Teach me.
How do I exactly start? It's so weird. You catch on to music so fast, but I still have to explain things like this.
Please, just do your best.
You'll put in that number off the flyer. Then just talk to whoever picks up. Tell them you saw their ad and you want to join the band. And if they ask how long you've been playing, lie to them.
All right, so these numbers.
I'll read it off to you. 515-555-21.
Slower.
5 1 5 5 5 5 2 1 2 7.
Now what?
Just talk.
Is somebody there?
Hello?
Oh, who are you?
Do you have a wrong number?
Tell him you're interested in the band.
Oh, right. I saw this poster and I'm a guitar player, so I was thinking.
This is about the band? Yeah, great. My name's Randall. I'm the lead singer and temporary manager. Until we get that spot filled. When can you come over? It'd be good to get an audition in with you.
Oh, I think I can come over whenever?
Get his address.
Huh? Oh, right. Where do you live?
Audrey handed her a pen. Lyra juggled it and the phone, shifting it to her other hand so she could write.
What do I do with this?
Write it down.
She copied down what the voice on the phone had told her. It sounded like an address. A lot of numbers were mixed in there too. Humans seem to really like numbers.
Did you get all that?
I've got it.
My schedule's pretty open this weekend. Think you could make it tomorrow afternoon sometime? Just want to hear how you sound, that's all.
Tomorrow? Yeah, I'd like that.
I'll see you then. Bring your own music. Looking forward to hearing you.
The sound suddenly cut off from the other end. Lyra held the phone away and stared at it, trying to figure out what had gone wrong.
Press the red button. The other one, on the side.
So, what happens now?
You said you'd audition for him tomorrow, right? My parents will both be at work again, and I don't have a car. Hey, Nathan, are you busy tomorrow? That's probably him. Go answer it. I'll print this out.
Lyra headed downstairs and opened the front door.
Oh, hey, Lyra. Is Audrey here?
Hi! Audrey's upstairs. I'm not sure what she was doing, though.
They heard footsteps coming down the stairs, and a moment later Audrey was there carrying a piece of paper. She handed it to Nathan.
I just got the directions printed. Thanks for offering to drive her.
It's not like I was busy or anything today. I think I know where this is.
We don't really know much about this guy, but he seemed okay on the phone. Just be careful.
Will do. Ready to head out, Lyra?
Yeah, I'll just get my guitar.
Technically, it's still mine.
Right.
She headed back up to her room. She packed up the guitar into its case, slung it over her shoulder, and lifted up the heavy amplifier, her fingers straining with the weight. When she was downstairs, she almost dropped it in front of the two humans.
Now I'm ready.
I can get it the rest of the way. My car's in the driveway.
Your what?
Lyra followed him out into the front yard, where one of those carriages was waiting. It wasn't the same one that was usually there. This one was gray, and it was one of the smaller ones.
We're taking that?
Yeah. Don't worry, I haven't had my license that long, but I'm a very safe driver. You've got nothing to worry about.
He circled around to one of the front doors and got inside. Lyra stood completely still for a moment, but he gave her a look as if telling her to get in.
Go ahead and put the guitar in the back.
She nodded and found the door handle. Her fingers slipped up inside it and it pulled outwards. The back seat was covered in all sorts of things: papers, a metal can, some shopping bags. She put the guitar on top of the mess, closed the door, and went around to the other side to get into the front seat next to him, on the right side. There were all kinds of buttons like the one on the phone or the stereo, a lever between the seats, and some kind of wheel in front of Nathan. Like a ship, Lyra realized. He probably used that to steer. The seats were soft, but there was almost no legroom.
Where did I put that? Oh, there it is.
Lyra was still taking inventory of the vehicle. A cup sat near Nathan's seat. There were two indentations perfectly sized to it, one next to it that had a few coins in it. He turned a key and the entire vehicle shook. There was some kind of loud rumble from behind them. Lyra could feel her heart pounding in her chest. It had been loud, and when they started rolling backwards into the street, she could barely keep her eyes open.
What's wrong? Car sick?
Oh, I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Lyra, have you ever been in a car before?
One of these.
A memory suddenly played out in Lyra's mind. Rainbow Dash pulling her out of the runaway apple cart just seconds before it careened over the side of a cliff. In this vehicle, they were completely enclosed and hadn't even strapped themselves in. Not to mention she hadn't seen a Pegasus in over a week.
Well, once.
Just once?
It wasn't exactly like this, but similar. We didn't have these where I was from.
Don't worry, we're not going that far. Where'd you come from that you've never been in a car before?
Is it normal to ask this many questions when you just met someone?
Right. You've probably been hearing a lot from Audrey. It's not just you, she likes to analyze people. The whole reason she took you in is probably because you're such a mystery. Though it does make sense that she'd want to figure out more about you.
I'm just a normal human.
You really don't want to talk about it, huh? I won't pressure you.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Maybe not, but I'd say you're a long way from normal.
Nathan seemed completely calm. Lyra watched his hands, and that distracted her from what was going on. They gripped the wheel as they drove through the city, and he'd move it to either side when the carriage changed direction. As she'd assumed, it was the steering mechanism. After some time, Lyra was getting used to the motion, but she still felt curious about how this thing moved at all. They were going much faster than a carriage would. The speed wasn't as noticeable from the inside as it was when you watched one from the sidewalk. They slowed down again as they entered another neighborhood. The drive had only been a few minutes, even if it had seemed much longer than that. And it must have been miles away from Audrey's house. They'd pulled up in front of a brick building, and Nathan was peering out the windows at the number on the mailbox.
This is it. You're sure you want to go in there?
That's where we're supposed to go, isn't it? You had the map.
Well, yeah, but
I'm not nervous at all. I've been practicing a ton. I'm sure he'll let me join.
that's not what I'm concerned about.
Lyra searched around for the release to the strap across her chest and clicked it down. She opened the door and stepped out, her legs still shaking. She braced herself with one arm against the car until it stopped.
What are you waiting for? Come on!
Lyra, don't you think...
Nathan started to call out to her, but she had already grabbed her guitar and was headed for the front door.
They don't have one of those,
There was no doorbell, so she made a fist and knocked. It hurt her knuckles, they weren't as sturdy as a hoof.
I'm just saying, if this doesn't turn out well, just let me know. We can head right back.
The door opened and another human stood there, taller and bulkier than Nathan. He lifted a hand to push his stringy dark hair out of his eyes. It was about as long as Lyra's own.
I'm here about the band.
You, come on in. Let's talk.
You sure about this?
Come on. He's a human just like we are.
I didn't doubt that.
You guys coming?
Yeah!
They were invited to sit down on a couch, and the other man took a lumpy armchair across from them. He nodded towards Lyra.
You were the one on the phone? You seem a little young.
Oh, it's fine. I'm 16.
Right. You must be the one I talked to yesterday. You can just call me Randall.
His voice sounded kind of like the one she'd heard on the phone, but it was weird to think that they'd already talked if she was just meeting him for the first time now. She noticed the odd artwork on his t-shirt, unusually detailed even for human clothing. It had what must be a human zombie on it, and the words Iron Maiden in red.
Are you the one in charge?
Gotta say, I'm glad we've got somebody willing to be our guitarist. A band can't really hold itself together without one, you know?
Yeah.
So you're...
Lyra.
Lyra?
That's what I said.
You got a last name, Lyra?
Nope, just Lyra.
Well, okay then. So, just Lyra. Got any performance experience?
Yeah, a ton. I was chosen to play a royal gala back home, as a matter of fact.
Royal Gala. What are you, British?
I don't think so.
Well, anyways, let's hear what you got. All that really matters is if you can play. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'll go get the amp out of the trunk. You go ahead, Lyra.
So that was...
My friend Nathan. He's lending me the guitar.
She noticed on his left arm he had a twisting black pattern. It looked like a dragon, like the one she'd seen in the Dragon Migration, or that time when Spike had grown to his full size. That was the only time she'd ever seen a full-size dragon up close.
How'd you get that?
Oh, this? I woke up one morning with a splitting headache and this happened. Who knows what else went on that night?
Fascinating. Not only does this human have a cutie mark, he doesn't even remember how he earned it.
We usually play in here. I'll let you get set up.
Wow. A literal garage band.
Meh, we use what we've got.
It was like a tool shed attached to the house, with a solid stone floor stained with something black. Lyra got to work setting up the amplifier. It was still difficult to remember how to set this thing up. She'd kept it ready to be used in her room ever since the first time she'd used it, so that she wouldn't have to worry about this part.
Need some help?
No, I think I've got it.
Lyra was crouched down trying to figure out all the chords. She found the end that plugged into the guitar and clicked it into place, then stood up.
I'm ready.
Let's hear it.
It's my newest song, but my favorite.
She put all her concentration into her fingers and the sound of the guitar. She practically forgot about the two humans standing there watching her, or the cold and dirty room they were standing in. When you really got down to it, this wasn't too different than trying out for a concert in Canterlot. If she was good enough at the music, she had nothing to worry about. After a few minutes, Randall raised one hand.
That's fine. That's enough.
Was it good?
Yeah, great, in fact. I mean, I was just about to let you in, no matter what you sounded like. We've been a bit desperate. But that... How long have you been playing?
Just about my whole life. It isn't technically a lie, he just hadn't asked what I'd been playing, or how.
Lyra flexed her fingers.
Who do you mean by we?
I'll introduce you to the other band members later. Practice will be next Monday afternoon.
So, I'm in?
Welcome to Crimson Thunder.
I can't believe it! A human band. I'm gonna be playing music with other humans! Thank you so much!
I guess we'll see you then.
Right, Monday afternoon. If I hadn't already been here for so long, I would swear I'm just having an incredibly vivid dream. What would Bon Bon think of me now?